Welcome to Zidam Astrology. Join me on this journey for your tarot and patra readings, your birth charts inclusive of chakras, crystals, and runes. Sign up, share, and subscribe. Okay, Fire Trine, this is Zidam Astrology once again bringing you your tarot analysis, and we are dealing with the period October 1st to 23rd, 2022. And Fire Trine, recall that you are Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, and this is true for both Vedic astrology and Western astrology. If you looked at my previous videos, you would have seen the tutorial, which is still here in this video, and you can always look at it if you are interested in why I do what I do and why I use the trine concept. Okay, so the first card that we have here with your situation as to what is your goals, or what is your situation that you are currently facing, and it comes from the Two of Wands. What is your next step? You have achieved a certain amount of success and you are now surveying the road ahead, but it's two roads, it's two parts, because it's the Two of Wands. So you are debating whether to remain on the road that you have been taking, or to take a new road. And in the Rider-Waite card, there's a man just surveying all that he sees. There's new land in front of him. The ships are there for him to sail off into the sunset, into new areas of bettering himself or meeting what he wants to achieve. Do you travel on the same road, or do you choose a new path that will lead you to different or better circumstances? And the Wands is not a slow decision. It's a quick decision, because Wands is all about fire, action, doing, momentum, moving forward. So patience is a virtue not often found in the Wands. And when the Wands appear, the Two of Wands appears, you might be a little frustrated. You might feel a little trapped in that you have to make a quick decision, but your experience, your wisdom is telling you, look at the bigger picture. Look at what is surrounding you. Don't make that quick decision, but a decision that you have to make is there. You can't get away from it. And the Two of Wands, as I said, often represents being at a crossroads in your life and not knowing which direction to take. But Wands do not like to stand still for long. So this is bound to cause you frustration, and it's a dilemma of making a decision. So you have to make that decision of whether to continue to stay by yourself or to join forces, because the Two of Wands could also be a partnership. Do you represent a strong reason for entering a partnership, or even breaking up a partnership, if you want to look at the negative side of it? But you have to weigh the pros and cons of what you want to do, and if you really want to give a share of power to another. Because remember, this will now be teamwork. You will no longer be a sole trader or provider. You will have to share your thoughts, your words, your deeds, your actions, and why, your reasons. So this might be a little restrictive for you if you are a person of fire. You are a person of doing, of wanting to move ahead. So that the Two of Wands is telling you to make that decision, but ensure that it is the best decision, because you have been dwelling on this for some time, but you want to take that decision, and it is here upon you now, Fire Trine. And what led you to this? The Four of Pentacles is what led you to this. And the Four of Pentacles is usually referred to as the miser card. So that money is on your mind. Finances is on your mind, but it's financial stability in the long term. It's not about here and now. So your decision is really not about here and now. It's about the long term and the investments that you probably want to make. And right now you're being a little miserly, because at the end of the day, this card is known as the miser card, and it is a little bit greedy, that what you have you want to hold on to. But you can't hold on to something if you want to make investments. You have to let go of some. You have to invest. You have to buy new bonds. You have to buy a market share. You have to buy shares in a company, or some investment that you are going to make. You may have to spend money overseas or travel overseas to invest. So you can't be a miser here. And this is the decision that you have to make, that you are, at a crossroads. So money is on your mind, the future is on your mind, long-term investment for your retirement fund or pension is on your mind. That has brought you to this decision. And what is the character that you are seeking, that or you should consider? It's the Ten of Swords, but it tells you one way or another change is coming. And this change is often hard to deal with, but it's all in your mind. It's not a physical um it's not a physical hurt or physical um decision. It's your mental. It's often very hard to deal with and can be shocking and upsetting, because you are a little miserly with your assets, but you have to take that decision. And usually the 10 is a good card, but and this 10 of Swords is dealing with you, your mental capacity, your mental clarity. And the card is not all darkness and gloom. When the Ten of Swords appears, it is acknowledging that your situation cannot go on any longer and that something has to give. And it can be painful, but understand it has to happen. So that, the major changes may have occurred for you in rapid succession, which brought you to the crossroads, the Two of Wands. And major changes because you have now recognized that you have entered a partnership and you need to provide. And you can't be miserly with your funds anymore with the Four of Pentacles. So major changes may have occurred, and a lot of things may have been transformed for you. A lot of things have been swept out from under you in rapid succession, so that it's not going to be seen again, and you're desperately trying to hold on, but you can't. You can't. You have to make that decision. So you have to let your mind settle, and you will understand that it is time to let go, time to say goodbye to an area of your life that you have been holding on to. You may be a little unsure, it will be upsetting, but you have to make that decision. You may experience a little bit of insecurity, but you have to accept that it's a major part of the process of transformation, so that your passage will be smoother with a decision that you have to take. And what is the advice that the guides is telling you? It's all about the Lovers. And the Lovers here is, um, a sign which we associate with Gemini. And because of the dual nature of Gemini, one of the challenges is to learn how to decide. Therefore, this card can, represent decisions of any kind and not just relationships. Because when you look at the two persons, you see a man and a woman standing before the tree of knowledge and the tree of life. But the angel is there guiding you. It's there over you, showing you that you have to look at both sides, examine both sides of the situation, so that the best decision for all can be arrived at. It is a time to take your physical, emotional, and spiritual needs into account when making a decision. And the nudity of the man and woman symbolizes your desire to be open and honest with yourself and with others, so that with this relationship, if you are in a relationship and you need to discuss the changes or the decision that you have to make, you feel safe enough with each other to enable you to show your true self to the person, and they will accept you for who you are, even if it's a decision that is difficult and will bring you worry. And what will be the outcome? The outcome will be the Page of Swords. And the Page of Swords have an active mind. And it suggests that it is all positive mental activity. But there are many clouds behind the Page of Swords, so that you find that you will be going around and around overthinking it probably. But the outcome is a balanced one, because the Page of Swords here holds that double-edged sword in a balanced way. He holds it up, showing it's upright. You may have a little mental confusion and exhaustion, but the Page of Swords is demonstrating the power of the brilliant mind that can keep a lovely balance between earth and air. You know, and this is the power of the Sword of Suits, because at this early stage you are thinking about the future and you want to be one with um, your mind and your body, you know. And the Page of Swords can turn up in a reading to acknowledge that you are on the brink of starting something new, or at the very least encouraging you to do so. So it goes back to the decision that you have to take, you know. And you know, it brings you to the stage where um, nothing is ready, um, or nothing is really there for you to be afraid. You know, you may have some kind of qualm, some kind of a sense of instability or insecurity, but the Page of Swords is balance. It's your mental agility. You know, you may be working out the logistics of putting your plans and ideas into action by doing research and looking around for what you need. And the Suits of Swords is, you know, some of the keywords here is resolution, ideas, communication, but also struggle, conflict, and change. So recall that swords is air, and air is intangible, unseen, and it can take many forms. You know, air can be sharp, fierce, clear, transparent, but it carries messages. And the Suit of Swords can also take on the element of knowledge, you know, action and power that is associated with air, but it embodies the balance between intellect and power, and our capacity for thinking with logic. So this is the Page of Swords as the outcome. And what is the goddess or the deity from the Caribbean or African diaspora that I have included in these readings? It is Aunt Nancy, but in the Caribbean we call this card Anansi, and it's all about trickster, betrayal sometimes, but Anansi can be a trickster, you know, a person who teaches or who has a personality that teaches moral and ethical values based on your ability to lead a person to the truth through example. So Anansi will trick you into making that choice by allowing you to see the truth through his example. But there would be twists and turns because Anansi is a trickster. He's not going to give you a clear path. And this is your understanding that, you know, with Anansi, he's the god of stories, wisdom, knowledge, and he often takes uh, the shape of a spider and is sometimes considered to be a god of all knowledge, you know, but he takes the role of the trickster, and it's it's not a trickster in a bad way. You might feel a little betrayal, and this is where the insecurity and instability might come in, but at the end of the day he leads you with truth to the decision and the solution. So you know, Anansi is best known for his ability to outsmart and triumph over more powerful opponents through his use of cunning, creativity, and wit. So, you know, Anansi is usually the protagonist because he has the ability to transform his apparent weakness into virtues. So, this is the guidance coming from Anansi or Aunt Anansi. And then at the end of the day, what is the Vedic verse that we might have to look at? And it's false ego. And this comes from chapter 3, verse 27 of the Bhagavad Gita. And chapter 3 is all about the way of action. And this is the Two of Wands, Karma Yoga, you know, where Lord Krishna explains how performance of your prescribed duties, but without attachment to results, is the appropriate course of action for Arjuna on the battlefield. And the verse reads like this: all actions in all instances are done by Prakriti's gunas, those with ego deluded mind imagine I am the doer. And it says we can see that the natural phenomenon of the world, it's not directed by us, but it is performed by Prakriti or Mother Nature. You know, that is Mother Nature. Now, for the actions of our own body, we usually divide them into two categories. One, our natural biological functions such as digestion, blood circulation, heartbeat, etc., which we do not consciously execute but which occur naturally. And two, actions of the senses such as speaking, hearing, walking, sleeping, working, etc., that we think we perform. But both these categories are performed by the mind, body, senses mechanisms. So all the parts of these mechanisms are made from Mother Nature or from Prakriti, or the material energy which consists of the three modes, or the three gunas: goodness, which is sattva; passion, which is rajas; and ignorance, which is tamas. So just as the waves are not separate from the ocean but is a part of it, similarly the body is a part of Mother Nature from which it is created. So the material energy is the doer of everything. So this false ego that we are doing everything is not true. We are not the doer. Mother Nature is the doer. We can't get away from the forces that allows us to do what we do on a daily basis. The choice that we have to make is based on Mother Nature's intervention in our life and what we make of it. We don't have a choice sometimes. And the Two of Wands here is telling you the crossroads are upon you. False ego is here. Don't have that false ego. Mother Nature is giving you some guidance here. Learn, embrace, and listen. So, Fire Trine, this is your analysis, and I hope we understand what we have to do by the messages of the divine. Okay, with Bhagwan's blessings, Zidam Astrology has completed another video on my tarot series. I hope that the messages have met with some understanding and that you would be guided. I always thank Bhagwan for his knowledge, for his sending me in the right direction to bring these messages to you. As usual, I hope that you are healthy, that you have something new and exciting entering your thoughts and enabling your dreams. And I wish for you to be safe, happy, and healthy until we meet again. At the end of the day, my tutorial continues beyond this slide if you are interested to understand why I do what I do at Zidam Astrology and all about the Trine concept. Okay, this is just a little synopsis of the fire signs Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius as an explanation for the terminology and what the concept of the fire signs give. And I've spoken about this in previous videos, I've spoken about it in previous tutorials. So I just ask you to, read through these, look at it, understand that the fire signs are the most energetic of the three, and you'd find that you would find energy, warmth, and optimism from Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. But fire can be passionate, it can be dynamic, it can be temperamental. So this is just a synopsis, as I said, for you to understand. Should you have any questions, any queries, you can always drop me a line at zida55@outlook.com or check my blog at zidamastrology.com and leave a message there for me. Okay, this is your tutorial. As I mentioned to you in this video, that I'm going to leave a tutorial so that you can see why I have formulated the Trine concept to read horoscopes at Zidam Astrology rather than read individual signs from Aries to Pisces for you. And I've found in my research and in my reading and from my teachings that there are commonalities between the tarot and the Kundali, which is your birth chart in Vedic astrology. So that these are the commonalities that have aligned together, that have created a method that will utilize the tarot and Vedic astrology to read and analyze for you in the trine concept. And this is a kundali or birth chart taken randomly on somebody born on April 21st, 2022 at 6 a.m. And this person's birth chart or natal placements are here for you to see that these are the placement. This is the fate of this person. This is the ascendant or lagna, as we say in Vedic astrology, where we say this is the first house of the 12 houses in the zodiac sign. So wherever the ascendant or lagna falls is where we denote in Vedic astrology your first house. And in this particular chart, we go clockwise from Aries to Pisces so that we'll know where your first to 12th house falls. So your first house is Aries, your 12th house will be Jupiter. And each house in Vedic astrology denotes something. It denotes your wealth, your family, your siblings, your relatives, your children, your marriage, your father, your mother, your work, your career, your community, your luck, your spirituality, your illnesses, whether it's chronic or routine, you know, how you will earn your money, how you will lose your money, a multiplicity of things. And each of these houses has its significations that we read for you in Vedic astrology. So this is your natal chart. This is your fate. You cannot change the positioning of these planets in your kundali, because this is the placement of the planets when you were born, the time you were born, and the place you were born. However, you cannot change fate, but you can change destiny. And destiny comes from the transit of the planets, because each of these planets, they move from one sign to the next during particular periods. And you can change your destiny through your freedom of expression and will, through your ambition, through your courage, so that you can change destiny. You can't change fate. And the transit of planets will give you a chance to change your destiny. And transits, planets move, as we see here, Saturn every 2.5 years, and so on and so forth. This is how planets move from one sign to the next. Neptune takes 14 years to move from one sign to the next. Mercury takes 1 month. Sun takes 1 month. And you will see these are the 12 planets that I deal with at Zedam Astrology, so that they are the ones that I look at and how they move. And every placement of a planet in a particular sign says something, does something, has an aspect on your natal planet, and it throws out potential or a pathway for you to understand what can be happening. You know, it is the natal chart is a map of what the sky was like on the day for us to know ourselves and to better understand the types of energy we have available for each moment and situation in life. And because of the transits where destiny can be changed, we can say that this placement is not decisive, but it shows options and it marks pathways in which we can utilize to make choices during our lifetime. And then we have the source code of astrology, and that FEAW is basically fire, earth, air, and water. Those are the trines that I look at, and the 4 elements are the source code of astrology, and they are the blueprint of your soul. You know, you become the architect of your destiny by using this blueprint of our soul. And the blueprint of our soul, one of the trines that I use, because it's the foundation, you know, one of the trines that I use is the Dharma Trikona. And the Dharma trine tells you that, you know, this is the trine that keeps us on the soul's mission, the accumulated merit and the manifestation of past karma. And this 159 denotes the houses 1, 5, and 9. And as you see, we have fire, earth, air, and water trines. So this is the source code of astrology. And tradition holds that religious duty, your dharma, is the primary aim of human life. since it is the foundation which you develop your wisdom and your discretion to pursue wealth, which is Alta, which is another trine, happiness, karma, which is a third trine, and we pursue these wealth and happiness from the wisdom we get from Dharma, so that we will not compromise our chances of liberation, which is moksha, which is the fourth trine. But I use the first trine because it is the foundation, it is the primary aim of your birth on this earth. And Hinduism describes the Dharma trine as the natural universal laws whose observance enables us to be contented and happy and to save ourselves from degradation and suffering. So that Dharma is the moral law combined with spiritual discipline that guides our life. You know, and this is what the Dharma trine is. And I'm just going to pull up another version of the zodiac circle, the 12 signs, and I'll just give you an example so that this random Kundalini or birth chart gives you Aries as the ascendant, and with Aries as the ascendant, that will be the first house. The first house will be Aries, the fifth house will be Leo, and the ninth house will be Sagittarius, and this is the trine. So Aries, Leo, Sagittarius is the fire trine, and with the fire trine, even if your first bhava is Leo, then Leo will be your first house, Sagittarius will be your fifth, and Aries will be your ninth. You will still remain in that trine if your ascendant moves from Aries to Leo or Sagittarius. And remember, your ascendant moves every 2.5 hours every day from one zodiac sign to our next in Vedic astrology. And then we have the earth trine, and the earth trine can begin with Taurus, and if it begins with Taurus, then you would have as your fifth house, you will have Virgo. As your ninth house, you will have Capricorn, and this is your earth trine. Then your air trine will be Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. That is your air trine. And obviously your water trine will then be Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, so that all your signs are taken care of there, as you see. So these are the trines. And why I do the horoscope in trines is because Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, when one is activated, each of these are activated because they are in a trine. They are in a dharma trine, a dharma, where your duty, where your vision, where your wisdom are all created for you to understand that first house is you are born, then fifth house is your children, and the ninth house is your father. So you get the circle of evolution. Your father produces you with your mother. Your mother helps you throughout your life. When you are an adult, then you produce children. And that is where you get this circle of evolution, so that the Dharma trine here is what connects each of these three signs in the zodiac. And then we have the tarot deck, and the tarot deck as we know it has wands, pentacles, swords, and cups. And you will see that the wands is with fire, the pentacles is earth, and swords are air, and cups are water. So that here now we have the commonality between the tarot deck and the zodiac astrology, the source code of astrology. So that you know, this is what I find with the commonalities. There are so many other things that I can speak about, but this is the basic. You know, this is the basic. And if we have to talk about, you know, a tarot spread, you know that my go-to tarot spread is the Tetractys. And the Tetractys tarot spread comes from that Greek philosopher Pythagoras, who threw out for us the Pythagoras theorem. And he, you know, he can be viewed as a Vedic Brahmin, because three of the things he did or believed in was that he wore white exclusively, he was a vegetarian, and he believed in reincarnation. And his theorem existed in the Sanskrit texts in India. So that, you know, there we have the commonality again. And then even so, the tarot deck, the fire is clubs, pentacles is diamonds, swords is aligned to spades, and cups is aligned to hearts. So this is where we get the commonalities. This is where I can utilize a union of tarot and Vedic astrology to bring you a complex issue, but a different take on reading your birth chart, because you cannot live by yourself, you weren't born by yourself, and you can't grow up by yourself. There is a community, and that community brings the trine, so that you feel comfortable if you are in the fire trine with people from Leo and Sagittarius if you were born in Aries. Likewise, it goes so for the other trines. So this is my research, this is my method that I use, and I hope I was clear, complete, and concise. I ask that you share, sign up and subscribe, review my videos, look at my transit series, and I will join you next time. Thank you so much. Okay, so this is the trines synergy in Vedic astrology and tarot, you know, how they complement each other and how they have that symbiotic flow that works well with the marriage that I'm bringing to you. And trines are considered positive in Vedic astrology, as energy flows easily between the planets in trine, so that when you activate one, the trine is activated. So when you activate Aries, Leo and Sagittarius are also activated. And if you have planets in those signs, or planets or grahas posited in the nakshatras, those nakshatras with their relative deities and energies are activated, so that this brings more good luck, creative abilities and opportunities in one's life in the areas that these planets affect. Trines are the houses of Goddess Lakshmi. And remember, in Vedic astrology, houses or bhavas do not only start at Aries. They can start anywhere based on your ascendant or lagna position. And these houses form trines in a tarot reading, those that are at the angles of 120 degrees with each other. The trine in the tarot series 159 signify the present, the past and the future, which is the person himself, his children and his father. So 1 is you, yourself, 5 is your children, and 9 is your father. So this is the circle of evolution. So this is how the tarot and Vedic astrology are symbiotic in terms of the trines. But we also have in Vedic astrology the Kendra Bhavas, which I am not dealing with at this point in time. But you know, it's just for information, for you to understand the level and depth that Vedic astrology can go into, and the many tools that we have at our disposal to assist in your reading or your Kundalini and birth chart when you request one. And these Kendra Bhavas, it enhances the internal strength of an individual. Think about the pillars, you know, the 4 pillars of a room, which are holding it up. That is what these Kendra Bhavas do, you know. This can be another analytical tool for your birth chart, depending on your specific needs from Vedic astrologies. And Kendras are the houses of Lord Vishnu, just as the trines are the houses of Goddess Lakshmi. And these houses are related to stability, security and savings that overcome the limits of Goddess Lakshmi, which is related to the progress and development of a person but lacks stability. So these houses are 1, 4, 7 and 10, and this is just for your further information.